Hello everyone, this is Uncle Louie coming at you with episode 19 of the podcast, of Uncle Louie's podcast, episode 19. So in this episode, which is so lovely titled, boldly and simply titled, Cartoons Continue. So in this episode we're gonna, or at least I will talk more about some of my favorite cartoons in the past, and I might just very well try or attempt to mimic some of the voices if I could do it. If I can't, then I'll probably do a very bad impression of it, but nonetheless, let us move on ahead and get on with it. So with cartoons, now, if you loyal Louians have kept up with the other podcasts that I put out, even the ones before the video format when it was just audio format only, I believe it was episode 9 or 10, one of those two, where I talked about cartoons. And I talked about how Courage the Cowardly Dog was a really cool cartoon. It was very creepy, but it was very different. And in doing so, I kind of opened a floodgate, so to speak, of just almost limitless possibilities for future episodes for podcasts for me to just talk about cartoons, because I thoroughly and sincerely enjoy talking about cartoons. I enjoy watching them, not 24/7, but a lot. I really love cartoons. I grew up on that stuff, and it's kind of it makes me feel like a kid again. I know that it's not just me, or I'm not the only one that goes through that. There's got to be more than a couple of fair share of people who also go through that nostalgic feeling when you watch one of your old cartoons, or when you watch anything that's from your past or from when you were much younger. And it's just a very good feeling. It's wonderful. It's animation, just different styles. But yeah, so with this episode with Cartoons Continued, I thought long and hard about what specifically I could talk about in terms of which cartoons to pick, but I like too many. I like them all. I really do. At least the ones that I have in my favorites bank, up here, all of the cartoons that I've seen, and I've seen hundreds of them. So it's honestly very difficult to pick one. But luckily, in this case, we'll probably pick a couple of them. Just give a couple of thoughts about them and get through them. Little walkie-talkie. No, that's the other series. This is the podcast. So, the first cartoon that I'm gonna go into right now it's gonna be what was it? It was Camp Lazlo. Yeah, Camp Lazlo. I know some of you might remember that coming out in Cartoon Network. I believe it was 2004 when it came out. I could be wrong, but I'm almost 100% sure that it came out in 2004 with the pilot episode, or like a little pilot of it coming out during the summer of 2004 when Cartoon Network would do this thing where they would, like, during a certain part of the summer, they would, like, put out previews, or technically pilots, of series that they're thinking about making, and in one of those summers, the summer of '04, by the way, Cartoon Network doesn't do this anymore, but I'm just saying back then Cartoon Network actually did a lot of stuff. So in this little summer pilot session, they were throwing different kinds of pilots around of cartoons. And I distinctly remember Camp Lazlo caught my attention like that. Like that. One more? Alright. Like that. But yeah, it caught my attention because it was so different. I mean, it was the same in the sense of, like, it felt like a cartoon, but it was different because it felt like a different kind of cartoon. It wasn't just at least it wasn't the cartoons that I was kind of already getting used to, like Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo, Powerpuff Girls. If anything, I would kind of put it closer to Cat Dog, because it kind of, like, they both have to do with an animals kind of vibe. But I think Camp Lazlo at least my personal opinion, I think Camp Blossom was like a little bit of an evolution of Cat Dog, like, or not an evolution, because Cat Dog is its own thing. It's one of the greatest Nickelodeon cartoons ever. But no, I think Camp Blossom took certain aspects from Cat Dog and kind of just made it work with the whole animal thing, just giving it a great vibe. You know, just a very comedic type of release. And I think the voice actors that they chose for Camp Lazlo was just phenomenal. I mean, I can't get on enough. It's just too perfect. You know, you have the grumpy moose, Scoutmaster Lumpus, or Lumpus. Then you have Slankman. You know, I could actually do Slankman's voice, but right now, my voice is not in the condition for it. It has to be a very specific type of way my voice has to be in order to get Slankman. But yeah, it's Slankman. And then you have Lazlo, which I cannot do vocally. I tried for years and to no success. Then now that we're going into Jelly Cabin, you know, first there's Lazlo, then there's Raj. Okay, don't laugh at me if I get this wrong, because I'm only gonna do this once. But I'm gonna try Raj. I'm gonna try, because I can do Raj. I can do it. But sometimes it just doesn't come out well. Sometimes I need to warm up, and I did not warm up, so this will be first and only attempt. I'm gonna say marshmallows, because if y'all have seen Camp Lazlo, y'all know that Raj absolutely and unequivocally loves marshmallows. Not marshmallows, marshmallows. Nah, marshmallows. Okay. I'm getting nervous now. A little bit camera shy. Alright. I'm getting into my zone. Enjoy the little music in the background while I get in my zone, alright? It will just be a couple of seconds. Marshmallows! Lazlo! What are you doing? Yeah, wasn't that great? There's a kind of weird texture to the voice of Raj. It's kind of like high-pitched, but like very falsetto-y kind of. I don't know, that's what I got. Trust me, I could do his voice perfectly, but yeah, I need to warm up a lot for that. Hope you all enjoyed that little bit. And then there's Clam. Oh, my boy Clam. What was that? I heard some noises. Nah, I'm kidding. No, it was probably the cats making noise, walking around the room, thinking they own the place. Anyway, then we're getting into my boy Clam. Yeah, my boy Clam. So with Clam, he's the rhinoceros. Oh, I failed to mention, my goodness, I'm a little bit scatterbrained right now. Raj is the elephant from India. So he's got that kind of accent to him. Lazlo is a hippie monkey, or a monkey with hippie parents. You can tell just by the expression of his ideologies and ideals throughout the series. Then you go to Clam, a little rhinoceros, very long nose, and I will say it, the most memorable line from that pilot episode that I talked about, where Lumpus had a big telescope, and he was trying to look at a star that was named after him, and Jelly Cabin, Lazlo, Raj, and Clam thought that Lumpus was going to shoot the moon, because Lumpus wanted everyone to turn off their lights, lights out. And they thought since he wanted lights out, he's going to blow up the moon because it was a full moon, it was very bright. So then, amidst the many comments that the Jelly Cabbers make, Clam says, Forest fire! Forest fire! Raj, Lazlo. Moon. Yeah, it's not very hard to do Clam. If anything, I think you just have to have the voice for it, like a deep voice for it. Not super deep, but deep enough to like really make it kind of airy, and then just like spout like little bits and bits, like bump, 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 hey, hey, yeah. Just if you want to learn how to do Clam's voice, and if you have the vocal range for it, then this will be a little quick tip, I guess, or not tip, but a little crash course. Force fire, force fire, mustard. All you devout Camp Lazlo fans will know what that one means. Mustard. Jelly Cabins, hot dogs. We're the best. Man, when I saw that episode, I wish I would have one of them hot dogs. Looked delicious. But sadly, no, I couldn't, because it was a cartoon. But I could in my own fantasies. Yeah. But overall, great show, great show. You got a lot of interesting characters. The thing is, with this show, it's like there's no one single story that follows through the whole thing. Each episode, it's its own story. Everything is different. It kind of follows. It's almost like, it's not like, it is a episode by episode story basis. So you don't really, you don't really have any type of story that goes throughout the whole process. Yeah, quit meowing, you cat. I swear, they've been doing that all day. They're going like, all day. It's driving me crazy. Not even my cats. Not even mine. Yeah, they're not mine. No. But yeah, it's a story. It's an episode by episode story, and each story is different. There's a lot of memorable episodes. I could have a bunch of things to say about Camp Lazlo, and it would never end. But overall, it's important to just say the main fact that, at least to me, Camp Lazlo was an amazing cartoon. It really made a huge chunk of my childhood that much better, And it also goes in tandem with other cartoons, because one cartoon alone doesn't make me who I am, or doesn't make my childhood the best of the best. It was a combination of a lot of the oldies that were still hanging around, like great old 90s cartoons that still hung around, and also the introduction of some early 2000s to mid 2000s cartoons of all sorts, and just that mixture of both the old and the new, and just that mixture really, I think it was a very special time to grow up in my personal time period, or when I was growing up. It was a very special time, because you didn't just get one side or the other, you got both. You got a lot of the old stuff, a lot of the old cartoons, like the 90s cartoons, like Doug, Cat Dog, Hey Arnold, Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo, Powerpuff Girls. What other one? There's a million and one more. There's millions more, but right at the top of my head, it's a little tough to point them out. We'll just name those for now. But you got those oldies, great older cartoons. And then, Angry Beavers, if y'all remember that one, Nickelodeon. You have that. So you got a bit of the old. And you got some of the newer cartoons, like Camp Lazlo, SpongeBob, even though technically SpongeBob's the 90s, but I kind of classify it as new because it was like in 99. So it was already kind of at the turn of the century kind of thing. So I kind of classify it as both, but I mostly classify it more so as 2000s beyond kind of thing, because the majority of the content of SpongeBob overall was made from 2000 on, even though 99 did have practically the best season ever, which was season 1. I don't think anyone can argue that there's any other season that's better than 1. The only other season that can match it, if anything, is season 2. That's it. Nothing else comes close to those two. Those two are like the top dogs. And call me old-fashioned all you want, you new SpongeBob people lovers, the ones that like the really super new seasons. I don't get it. I've seen some of those episodes. They're I almost said it. They're incredibly disgusting and grotesque. and not any. I don't get the point. It's just dumb. There's no story behind it. Well, it's not dumb in a funny way. It's dumb in like I just don't get it. Like this is disgusting. Why would I want to see this? Never used to do that before until I guess the newer kids started coming in, and I guess that's what they like. I don't know. If that's the case, new kids are messed up in the head because there's some stuff in there that stuff nightmares are made out of. Something I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. I'll tell you what. That's the truth. But yeah, so you know, you got the newer stuff, new cartoons like SpongeBob. You got the early Fairly Odd Parents, the early seasons, maybe like seasons 1 through 3 or 4-ish. You got Danny Phantom, Static Shock, if y'all remember that from Cartoon Network, Batman Beyond. You got the Justice League cartoons, Justice League Unlimited, Samurai Jack. What else? I don't know if y'all remember this. It wasn't a very long or very popular cartoon, but it was pretty funny for a morning kind of cartoon. It came out on Cartoon Network called Cramp Twins. I don't know if y'all get the chance, look that up. I saw it a couple months back. Like I saw a part of an episode because it's been more than a decade since I last saw it, way past a decade, and I don't know. It just hit me like it's stupid, but it's still good. You know, like the animation's a little the way the style of the cartoon is weird, but yeah, it's still good. And oh, one other thing. I just want to put it out there. It could just be me, but I want to say, am I the only one who watched a lot of like babies cartoons even after I wasn't like 5 or 6? Maybe? No. Because I know it's well beyond past age 6 or 7 or 8, whatever. You know, I would still watch like Nick Jr.'s type of stuff, or like the early Cartoon Network stuff like Baby Looney Tunes and all that. The Backyardigans from Nick Jr., Dora the Explorer. Also, that show also pissed me off a lot, but it's still good. I said the Backyardigans, Lazy Town, you know, or with Disney Channel you had Roly Poly Oly, Jack in the Box, Bear's Big Blue House. That's all I can remember. Oh, PB&J, cartoon about the otters. Maggie and the Ferocious Beast from Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network. Well, I said Baby Looney Tunes. I can't really think of Crypto, the Super Dog. Just to name a couple, or at least the only ones that I can call up, think of right off the top of my head. But yeah, I don't know. I'm wondering, am I the only one who would and possibly still watches some of those? Like right now, I don't, not that much. But I'm thinking about just downloading some of the episodes of old cartoons, child cartoons that I've seen, and just rewatch them. Just have a good time, just watching old cartoons. Going back to a special place. I think cartoons take you to a very special place, depending on the type of cartoon, because not all of them are the same. Some are more comedic, some are more serious, action-packed. Some are just, ridiculous in a funny way, or ridiculous in a stupid way. I don't know. They all have their own style. Some of them combination or a mixture of both. But I don't know. Am I the only one? That'll be my challenge question. I know it came a little early, but that's my challenge question for all of you. If you did watch basically kiddie cartoons, not the regular cartoons. I'm talking about kiddie cartoons like Nick Jr. style, or like Disney Channel for kids, that kind of stuff, like from the early to mid 2000s kind of era. Did you watch those kind of kiddie cartoons in the mornings beyond the age of 7? I don't know. I think by 5 or 6, you don't really watch those as much. You focus more on the main cartoon channels during the day. But I guess maybe by age 10, 9 and above, I should say. So yeah, that's my question. All you loyal Loonians and non-loyal Loonians yet to be. Not yet, but soon will be. That's my question. Did you watch cartoons that were for an age younger than, or that were meant for an age group younger than how old you were at the time? Did you watch those type of cartoons? And if so, I'd like you to leave me a comment down below on exactly which cartoon was your favorite. Out of all the ones that you've seen, which one's your favorite? Or if you have more than one, I will tell you, no more than 3. 3, I think 3 is a very good number to, I don't know, like if you, because sometimes you do have like your top, and usually it's not more than 3. You really, if you have more than 3 like number ones, then you're very indecisive. If you got at least like a maximum 3 top, then yeah, you're good. You're good, because I mean sometimes it's hard to say just one. Heck, even 2 makes it a little bit easier, but at the same time it's still hard. 3, it's like, okay, I can put 3. I got 3 there above the rest. Those 3 are always kind of fighting for that number 1 spot, so if I can put them in the same position or in the same spot, even better. So yeah, leave that down in the comments below. Now let's move on. So, as I mentioned, I also watched a lot of those early cartoons. And as I also mentioned moments ago, watching cartoons does take us to a very special place, you know. And I feel like everybody's experience is very different when it comes to how they experience the viewing of these cartoons. But you gotta admit that somewhere deep inside all of us, you know, there's always gonna be that little kid, regardless of how old you get or how broken down mentally you might be. The adults will understand that one. Or how broken down you might be, you know, there will always be a kid inside here. Somewhere inside of you, there's always going to be a kid that's like, you know, if you watch, you could be 55 years old, but you watch like a cartoon from when you were a kid, you know, like Looney Tunes, the old style Looney Tunes, you know, you're going to feel like a kid again. You're not going to feel 55, you're going to feel 5. You know what I mean? You're just going to feel, I don't want to say you're just going to feel young, but you're gonna go back to that time, that place. You know, we all have a time and place for everything. Like I'll tell you, not every cartoon has the same time and place for me, because me, you know, with me in my life, I've moved to different areas and I've lived in different areas for certain periods of time. So as new cartoons started coming in, you know, I was already in different areas. So for me, like certain years of cartoons and episodes will take me to like another place, and certain others will take me to another place. So, you know, I have a lot of memories with different cartoons, different places, different years, different eras, different states in general. Yes, I lived in a different state, you know, and I don't know if it says down here somewhere where I'm from, but I'll tell you, I'm from Texas. Originally from Texas, and right now I live in Texas, but that wasn't always the case. I used to live in Oregon for a couple of years. It's great. Both places are great. It's just Texas is a little bit more harsher with the heat. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, I had a great experience here in Texas. Most of my life, pretty much still to this day, most of my life here. I only spent 4 years in Oregon, and still a great 4 years. And all of the cartoons that if I watch a lot of the cartoons that I saw while I was over there, I always get these memories. You know, I go back to that place, that place in time, and just the feeling of everything around me. You know, there's just something special about things in general out there, and for the sake of this episode, cartoons that really take us to special places. You know, they take us down memory lane. They could take us to a place doesn't even exist. You know, somewhere deep in your imagination, you know, your kind of fortress of solitude. Because I get it. I get it. Sometimes, things out there may be a little tough, or sometimes you really don't have any problems whatsoever, but you just want to go to that place just to have fun. More fun than what you already are going through. So it's understandable. All that's great and dandy, and it's a wonderful thing to know that cartoons can be another way for all of us to just connect with a deeper part a truer part of ourselves, a purer part of ourselves that as we get older, we most of the time neglect or forget. Because I'll tell you, I like to think of myself as one of those special, rare kind of people that doesn't really, finds a good balance between, that adult aspect of life and the inner child and all that stuff. I mean, truth be told, I'll kind of always be a kid, even on the surface. It always goes, and it's not much to do with the maturity thing. It's just having fun, really seeing fun for what it is, almost the embodiment of just fun itself, and of friendship, and of enjoying life without a care in the world. The world could be crashing down all around me. It could. And I'd just be like, you know what? I'm not going to think about what's going to happen next, because I'm just going to do what I can, have fun, and see where that takes me. And everything will be fine. That's just the way it is. And I know that there are many of you loyal Louians out there that are probably the same way. And for that, we should applaud ourselves for that, because that is something it's rare. Because there's a lot of people that they act childish and they're like, yeah, I still have the inner kid, but it's not the same. It's not the same. For those type of people that act childish and whatnot, it's like you're not really embodying childishness. You're not really embodying that child spirit, in a sense, or your inner child. You're just acting like a child. How do I say it? It's like you're not really doing it in a way to express it through a means where you can still be where you can be yourself. I know it's a little bit confusing. Heck, even I confused myself a little bit there. But just know that just because someone might act a little silly or childish doesn't mean that they're embodying their inner child. Sometimes people are just that dumb. Or just so I don't get a bunch of the wrath of the hate comments, it could just be that you just like being silly. So I'll give you that one. But you can't lie. You can't tell me that there aren't some very stupid people out there that just plain act that way because they're dumb. Because there are. There really are. But yeah, just gotta have fun with it. Gotta have fun. That's what cartoons are there for. And you can bet your top dollar, bet your nickel. You can bet your nickel, viewer, bet your nickel, that there will be another cartoon episode for a podcast. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, but someday. There will be a continuation for this. Cartoons continued. Yeah. So, that's that. I already gave you the challenge question. I think it was around 17, 18 minutes. That's where I mentioned the challenge question. And don't forget to subscribe. It's somewhere there. Hit the like button. And hit the notification bell icon. I hope I'm pointing it the right way. But hit the notification bell icon to be notified of the most recent uploads that this channel gives. And you'll enjoy it. You will, because you got Uncle Louie being your host, giving you the cool stuff, giving you the rundown, the lowdown, the major information that you need to see, hear, and believe. And without further ado, this is Uncle Louie saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Y'all have a good one.